Hey guys, I'm in Colorado and I got a bike shipped to me by Freeway. They're really excited because this is like their second bike in the United States. They've got an Indiegogo campaign going on right now, and I'm very late doing this review because there was a ton of snow and it was blizzarding and my fingers were super cold. There's just a lot going on. It's kind of the holiday season. But that's enough of the background. I want to jump right in and talk about this bike. It came in a huge box. They shipped it directly to me, and I'm assuming that's what other people who order it from their Indiegogo campaign or possibly online are going to get. I don't think they have a lot of dealers, not a huge dealer network. It comes with this extra little box here. You get a nice Freeway sticker, and again, that's Freeway with one E. You get a charger. Let's pull this out. This looks fairly standard to me. These usually weigh about 1.5 pounds. And yeah, it looks like this is 2 amp output, so not the highest. Maybe a little bit cheaper on that, but kind of standard. Plastic. Are they plastic? No, they look like metal. These are, yeah, metal Wellgo pedals. I love that because you're going to get good grip, just more surface area than a lot of the little plastic ones that tend to break over time. And then a wrench and some Allen keys. And I think that's probably enough to assemble your bike. So I'm gonna hop to it. This is exactly how it came. You can see that they've done some good protection around the suspension fork up front, even around the light, because this does have integrated lights. I love that. Got a Pixio by Spaninga. A little bit of nice grip on these tires and some disc brakes. I'm really excited to take this bike out. There's some good smooth, not wet, like dry, clean surfaces to test on, and then there's some snow. And even though this isn't like a fat bike, which would have more surface area and really be ideal for snow, I think this is going to work out pretty well. Also, this is a 350 watt Bafang geared hub motor, whereas their last one only had, I think it was a 250 watt motor, and the battery was a little bit smaller, maybe not quite as integrated. So I'm just real excited to jump in on this. Again, it's a little bit more affordable, but sometimes that's your best option if you're on a budget. So let's check it out. So far, so good with this thing. I've been really impressed. They even give you a Selle Royale saddle. Got 27.2 millimeters on that seat post. I'm constantly calling out Thudbuster and some of these other suspension posts because they can make a bike like this, a hardtail, and turn it into more of a full suspension feel. If you're on a budget, and that's why you bought this bike to begin with, they do have some on Amazon that are like 30, 40 bucks. They don't work as well. They don't give you as much travel, but this is a very common seat post diameter. Just wanted to say, like, no nicks. There's no scratches. Everything is looking really nice so far. I'm getting all the styrofoam off, trying to recycle as much of it as I can. Just, there was like cardboard over this and then foam underneath. And I love that it's got a kickstand that's making the installation or build a lot easier. This is the actual technical part here. So now that, I've taken some of the foam off, you can see the handlebars are just hanging there by the different cables. I've loosened up this stem a little bit. And then I'm just gonna step in the front, get that front wheel between my legs, and straighten this out like that. And then I'm gonna tighten those bolts down. There's one on either side. I'm gonna take these bolts off. I'm gonna position the handlebar. So we're making great progress. Just wanted to do a little update along the way and call out some of the things that I'd noticed so far. She's looking pretty good, huh? I'm doing just fine. There was really only one size of Allen key that I needed to finish off the stem and those grips. I think I know why it's called the Buffalo, because you've got these little kind of like horns on the end, and I'm not sure how I feel about those. I guess they give you a different hand position, but the horns aren't independent of the grips, so if you want that to feel comfortable, then this is going to be really far forward. This Ergon and some other companies sell ones where you can dial it back, and there's all kinds of stuff, but it's unique. It gives this bike something sort of special to latch onto. I realize these are hydraulic disc brakes, and that is a pretty sweet upgrade for a bike that's in the $1,500 range. Not bad at all. And everything here is stock. I am not a professional bike mechanic. I mean, I know I work with e-bikes a lot, but I'm not really a pro. I just know my way around the bike. I am deviating a bit from what a standard consumer might do. I've got some Polylube 1000 on those threads before I put them on, and I do have a special tool that helps you put those on, but I'm just going to use the little wrench that they gave me, and I think we're going to be all set. I mean, it's looking really sweet. If you're someone who is a bit of a perfectionist and you want this to really last and get the chain lube properly and everything, there are other steps you can take. You can also go to your local bike shop Or you can call a company like VeloFix and they'll come to you and they'll help you assemble this. It might cost $60 to $80, but it's just gonna, you know, they might true the wheels, they're gonna make sure everything lines up perfectly. But from what I can tell, it's actually in pretty great shape straight away. So I'm filling up the battery inside, and I was just inflating the tires. I believe it says 40 to 65 PSI, and these are actually pretty nice tires, 27.5 by 2.10. So 2.10 means a little bit wider, gonna give you some good traction on those little knobs there. 27.5, it's kind of, you know, a little bit larger than the standard 26, but smaller than a 29er. So you still, it's kind of nimble, but you're gonna get a little bit more gap clearance and just smoother, more cushion, there's more air in there, so a little bit more comfort, and that's neat. That's not something I'm used to seeing on the more affordable bikes. A lot of the wires are internally routed, but not all of them. You can see this big wire going all the way down. It's a little bit of a vulnerability. Looks like that's the hydraulic disc brake heading back there. Tektro Ariga, really nice. Big rotors, front and rear, 180 millimeters. Quick release on the front, not on the rear, because, you know, it's a hub motor, and I guess they've got these little rubber caps. It's possible, but, you know, a lot of times this is kind of what I see on bikes like that. Again, I love the integrated lights, and something that I noticed when I really got close on the front light is that there's a USB port. Check this out, full-size USB port, probably about 5 volts. Yeah, that's what it says, 5 volts, 10, 1 amp? Yeah, so you could potentially wire in your smartphone or GPS like a Garmin or something and put that right up here. One of the big highlights for me about this bike, and I haven't gotten to test it yet, is just how small the little display is. This is very similar to the other Freeway bike, and it just stays out of the way, gives you plenty of room up here for other, you know, interesting electronic devices, and it helps it blend in. It's a little more stealth that way. You can see the motor is relatively small, kind of hides behind that cassette right there. Shimano Altus, by the way. Got some triggers up here, 8 speeds. You know, it blends in. It's black spokes. The battery is going to stick up a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit more noticeable, but it's not going to take a ton of room down here. And you can see the bottle cage bosses on that down tube. I love that. And actually, seat post tube is what I should have said. This is the down tube. So yeah, that's, you know, they've squeezed in a lot of things that I really like. It does only come in this high step design though. So if you're someone who has a shorter inseam, that might be a bit troublesome. It looks like they've got some rack bosses back here. That's where they've mounted the light. And then, you know, I don't know if that's for a brake, like rim brakes. They're probably recycling this frame from something else and maybe modifying it a little bit. Although I mean, it is a purpose-built frame for electric bike right here, but I'm surprised that they have these, you know, be able to put your rack with these other bosses. So I don't know, but I love that it has a kickstand and that's mounted real far in the back. When I was getting the pedals on, by the way, I noticed that at the tip of the spindle, it had an L and an R. So make sure you get those right, so you don't mess up the threads when you're spinning them on. But look how nice they look and how big they are. They're very solid. Got some nice reflectors going on. Good stuff all around. Even a metal bash guard on this side. It doesn't have a chain guide, so the chain could still, you know, flop off on the left, but this is going to protect the chain ring if you come into contact with some rocks or stumps if you're actually taking this thing off-road. But that is going to help your pants to clear the actual chain and sprocket so you don't end up with a bunch of messed up pants like I've got here from all these bike tests. So yeah, it's just a quick once over while we're waiting for the battery to finish charging. I'm definitely impressed, especially for the price point. They've done a pretty good job of selecting parts, and you know, I'm really stoked that Spinninga is putting out lights now that have USB built in. That's awesome. Okay, it probably only took me 20 minutes to get the entire bike built, but I have been studying it and, you know, researching online, preparing the battery, so, you know, we're losing a little bit of daylight. I just wanted to show you the battery. This weighs about 5.9 pounds. I usually plug it into the charger and then plug the charger into the wall. That way it can balance. Again, this is about 2 amp output. I weighed it. It's 1.2 pounds. Super light. I think lighter than their last charger. And the battery also has this USB port on it, but I'm going to get to that in a second. So again, with the kickstand back like that, it's nice. You can just move the pedals out of the way. You don't have to worry about them colliding. And then just try to line up that bottom slot on the battery. And then this handle kind of comes out. I think it might take, oh, you know what? See that? We've got the lockdown. There's that pin right there. So I'm going to have to take the keys from right here and get that set up. And it does look like a pretty solid metal pin right there to protect the battery if you're parking, leaving it outside. Okay, and it springs back. So maybe I just needed to push a little bit harder and it would spring out of the way, but I try not to force these things. There's a little bit of an angle there on the battery. Let's try that. I can feel it almost going in, but there we go. It took 2 hands to get it on, and you can see that it's in the lock position there. So if I pull on this lever, it actually won't come off. There's a power button here, and it shows my battery level, low or F for full. Interesting. And when I push that, it looks like it's also activating the display panel up here. It's backlit, nice, day, night. Okay. And I remember this type of display. You can kind of arrow up or down, and you get these different little chevrons. Huh. Maybe it goes around in circles because I'm pressing these buttons. Let's arrow down. It's like I'm arrowing down, but the chevrons are getting bigger. And then it goes to fast. And then down. Yeah, so it looks like it loops. Huh, and now it's back at the main menu. So we've got our speed in kilometers per hour, rotations per minute. Let's hold that for a second and see if anything happens. Yeah, it switches 96% on the battery. That's cool. A lot of times you just get an infographic with like 5 bars, and that's 20% increments versus percentage, of which you'd have 100 increments. So let's hold it again. There we go. 24 kilometers. Maybe that's my odometer. That's how far it's gone. Kilocalories, so it gives you some idea of how much energy you've been burning. And that's it. It just switches back and forth between those two things. I'm going to hold the right one for a second here, see if anything happens. No, nothing happening. You know, so the website said that they've got a test going on to make this the throttle activated, but I'm not figuring that out. I'm not able to find the throttle. There's nothing over here, just a trigger shifters. And down here we do have a 12 magnet cadence sensor, so I expect it to be pretty smooth. But that's a little bit interesting. I might try to hold down both of them. Oh, and great, it takes me to that menu. Whoa! And then there's the little display that shows, here's the fast guy. You know, 1 chevron, 2 chevrons, 3 chevrons, and then like super fast. Huh, lights, off or on. Oh, miles. I want miles. Cool. So when I held both of them, it allows me to get to this menu here. I'm going to do that again. Let's hold both of them. There we go. And use the left one to change selection. So day, night, user. Let's go down to user. So I select user. I want it the highest, so I'm going to leave that. I want the lights on. I'm going to click that, and I want miles. And then it takes me out. So yeah, it's pretty intuitive. Here are the lights. I don't know if I have to, you know. Oh yeah, look at that. We've got flashing going on the rear light. And that's kind of neat because a lot of times it's just solid, and I think flashing is a little more obvious. I wasn't sure if the motor inhibitors were going to do anything on these brake levers, if they were going to interact with that rear light. It doesn't look like it. That's probably just to cut power when you're riding. So I think it's about time we should just get out there and ride around and see how this thing performs. Okay, I got my frame camera ready. I'm gonna hop out and do some more extreme riding, but before I do, I wanted to point out that this is the little flap for the charging and for the alternative USB, and you can see there's kind of a hard angle here. It works. You know, it's a bit inconvenient taking the battery off every time you can drop it and stuff, and so it's nice that you can charge it on. It looks like that flap would protect it. I probably would not use that USB port nearly as much as the headlight, just because you'd have to string a cable all the way up to the front of your bike, and you know, it's just a lot of screwing around to do that. So I love that they have that second one right there. Just wanted to point it out, call it out there. Also want to send a shout out to Turbo Bob. He's another bicycle guy that does reviews, and he did an excellent write-up on this bike quite a while back, and I just really enjoyed reading it. You know, it's always great to get a couple perspectives, so check that out if you haven't. He reviews a bunch of great bikes too. And then also, because this was a free bike, they just gave it to me to review. A lot of times it's expensive to send it back, and you build it and then it's used, and then they got to do a warranty on a used bike and stuff. And so that was really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and extend that favor and give this to a gentleman in Fort Collins named Gary. He's like well known in the city. He's always riding a bike and tinkering with stuff. And I don't think he's ever had an electric bike. A lot of his bikes are a little bit more run down. So my hope is that we'll give this to him, and after a year of like solid use and stuff, we'll have a chance to talk with Gary and, you know, pick his brains on it. And, you know, it's just kind of paying it forward. I'm excited about that. Again, I want to send a shout out and a thank you to Freeway for doing this. And of course, they get a review. It's good press and everything. But enough said. I'm going to pop this camera on the frame, and we're going to get some other shots. Having some fun, losing a little bit of traction in the deeper snow, but the tires are holding up pretty well. It's actually a blast out here. I'm gonna give us a different angle, this time of the motor, so you can see how quickly it responds. Okay, we're going to meet Gary. I've actually never met this guy. My friend owns the Ultimate Sports Nutrition. Really nice guy, just super friendly. And, you know, I guess Gary comes in every once in a while riding his bike, and that's how this all came together. So here is the Freway Buffalo. Because it has those 27.5-inch diameter wheels, definitely awesome to take the front wheel off and then be able to turn the bars like that flat. You know, I've got the seats all laid down and everything, and just tossed right in. And of course, I took the battery pack off just to reduce the weight. I'm not a super strong guy, and lifting this, you know, don't want to hurt yourself. Here's the charger and everything. So, Andrew, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing pretty well. So, it sounds like Gary's already there. I tried to get here early.
Oh, all right, yeah, he showed up early. He's so excited about this.
Super excited. Did he ride his bike?
No, he has a car, and he's worried if he's going to be able to fit it in.
I was wondering, like, how's this guy gonna...
He usually, honestly, how he gets to the shop every day in the summer is he rides his bike. That's how he shows up every day.
What do you think, man?
He's going to be super psyched. This is more bike than he's had in his entire life. And the guy's 62, so I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome. Well, you told me he's like a bigger guy, you know, and he's riding these other kind of like piecemeal bikes.
Yep, that he'll like get out of the dumpsters and piece them together and stuff.
That's awesome. I'm super excited. And you know, after a while, maybe we'll get to check in with them again, see how this thing holds up.
Yeah, we'll see this summer how it's holding up.
Before we get in there, I want to mention, I was like looking at the website. It sounds like the full version of this will have some sort of it's like a cruise button or something. This didn't have it, and they said it might go a little faster. In my experience, this one went 20 miles per hour, which is still a lot for like an electric bike getting around town. And for him commuting and stuff, this one has a bigger motor than the first version. It was like a 250 watt. This one has a 350 watt. So it should be, you know, it'll be neat to see him. Like, hop on it.
Pushes him.
Do you ride much, Andrew?
I ride just a regular bike, Like, you can get around, like, only like a couple days, you know, a month in the summer.
Busy running your shop, right?
Yeah, I'm so busy.
So that's not bad.
You got it?
I got this, yep. Just get this. There we go. The other thing I wanted to mention while we're like reassembling this for Gary is, you know, if you're building a bike like this, try not to touch the disc brake rotor, because the oils from your hands and stuff will make it difficult to brake. Okay, we got the bike. We're rolling in.
This is like perfect size for this big guy. Yo, Gary.
Hey, what do you think, man?
I think it's cool as hell. Or it's cool as heck.
There we go. We'll just edit that one out. We'll edit it out.
This is Court.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Gary.
Yeah,
I'm still at a loss as to what the deal is.
well, I think the deal is just that I'm friends with Andrew. You know, I come in here a lot, and I've told him about what I do. I check out these different bikes. This company sent me this bike. It's electric, so it has a battery and some other cool stuff, and it sounds like you ride all the time, so I thought it'd be awesome to, you know, get it in the hands of someone who could really use it. Maybe, you know, after a while we could talk a little bit and see how it's holding up for you, if you're up for that.
Like in a couple weeks, few weeks, something like that.
Well, hopefully it lasts a little bit longer than that.
Year.
Maybe in a year or something like that, if it's still around.
Yes, I'm sure it will be.
Man, I can tell you ride bikes all over because you're jacked.
I do a lot of exercising.
That's awesome.
That's why he knows me.
Yeah, get the supplements and stuff. Well, thank you. I hope you're okay being on camera and stuff. I just thought it'd be fun to
I have
share.
no problem with that. This is great.
Do you want to give it a try real quick? Can I show you how it works?
Sure. Let's.
Okay, sweet. Okay. Have you even heard of electric bikes before?
Oh, I've seen a couple of different styles, but never ridden one.
Yeah, well, you know, you don't need a battery and a motor and all that, but I got into it because I have a knee injury.
So
and
this actually can be ridden just
absolutely,
like this.
yeah, you can just ride it like this, and it's a little bit lighter if you don't put the battery on, but if you want to go a little further, perhaps it's snowing or windy or there's hills, you get a little bit of zip. You know? Will you go ahead and kind of squeeze that on? And when you pedal, there's this little cadence sensor down here, so it detects movement, and so it automatically turns the motor on and off. You don't even have to think about it. You just pedal.
So you ride bikes.
So look, you've got your beret, but be safe. I know we're excited, but we're out here in the parking lot. You're in full power. Just hop on and start pedaling. And these are hydraulic disc brakes, so you're gonna get plenty of stopping power.
Now I start pedaling, and this is gonna start. Okay.
It just automatically goes. And whenever you brake, it stops the motor, okay? So just brake if you have a problem.
Okay, let's see how it works.
You feel it? Having trouble keeping up, Gary?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Well, have fun. I'll see you back at the shop. I think he's gonna like it, you know? Hopefully it holds up. He is a big guy.
Quite the outfit.
Isn't it neat?
Oh man.
How's the bike feel? Just the bike, like.
Oh, the bike feels great, but man, you start pedaling, it takes you.
Cruise.
This is awesome.
Yeah, enjoy it, man.
Too much. Got pickups at home.
He's like, I'm getting my bike. I'm gonna ride.
Yeah,
He's gonna probably get on this bike. I'm not gonna see him off.
it's like, I'll see you in 3 hours.
He's like, roads are too wet.
And then
So if you hold either button for a couple seconds,
it shuts it off.
actually that power button switch shuts it off, but if you hold this button for a couple seconds,
Resets
it switches to battery. So we're at 92%. So you can just monitor that. Like over time, you should get 20 plus miles on the bike.
Yeah, before you charge it again.
Yeah, and charging is pretty quick. The charger's right in here. It's really light. It's, you know. Do you have any questions or any thoughts?
This is great of you. I like this.
I hope
That's a beautiful bike.
I hope it's fun for you. This is where you can attach a rack and, you know, bottle. It's you sound like you're a bike expert, but I just don't want to leave you hanging.
I'm not being a bike expert, but I was just thinking if I could I suppose I could tie it on top of the car.
Well, guys, I think I might cut out here. I've had a ton of fun, you know, sharing this bike with Gary. Hopefully I'll see you around town riding safe. And for the full write-up on this, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Again, this is an Indiegogo bike. There were a few things on the campaign that I didn't quite match up with the bike I got, but I think that for the most part, this is what you get, and it's a lot of fun. So have fun and ride safe.
Thanks, sir. You can't move. Got this.
Okay, I think we got it. Gary said this is the car his dad and he share, and it's got plenty of attitude on the trunk right there, and now it's got attitude in the trunk. So
Thanks, gentlemen. See ya.
drive safe, man. I just hope he makes it. Look at this. Oh yeah, this might be the last time we see Gary. There he goes. That's so fun, you know.
I'm good, right?
You're great, man. Drive safe.
Thank you, sir.
Later.
You have a great day.